Hello everyone, I've got 500 pre-decimal pennies here to search through. I didn't get them from Amazon, they've come in an Amazon pack. I got them from eBay and I paid £40 for this 500, so let's see if I got a bargain or not. It says unsorted, but take that with a pinch of salt. I can't get them from my normal supplier at the moment. The one that guarantees me, it's come around here. The one that guarantees me no 67s. God, this is tough. Yeah, the person I'm talking to on the phone hasn't got a clue what I'm talking about when I talk about pennies to them. I said, well, I've been buying them off you for at least a couple of years. Oh, look at that, nice blue bag in there. And they said, well, we've got staffing problems at the moment. Can you call back later in a couple of weeks' time? So that's what I'll do. No paperwork in there? Not in there anyway. All right, see what we got there. If the worst comes to the worst, I've got the address. I'll probably just have to drive up there, about 200 miles away, knock on the door and see what they've got. I can't get in it. There we are, I made a bit of a hash of that, didn't I? Over there. Oh, I could have done a better job than that. Right, there they are. So let's get on with it. They do look quite clean, so they're not metal detecting fines. That's one thing to be aware of when you're buying pennies. Make sure they're not a big batch of metal detecting fines. Right, get them out of the way. Then we can put the boards down here, like that. Put this bit along there for any oddments. Starts at 1860, when the penny was reduced to the size that we have here. We won't find any older ones. They were made of solid copper and taken out of circulation by the end of the 1860s. And it goes up to 1966, but we're going to get 67s in this batch without a shadow of a doubt, so I'm going to just have to put it to one side. And as usual, my Whitman penny albums will be a priority. Anything I haven't got or an upgrade will go in there first. I haven't decided whether to do this all in one video or to split it up into other videos. You'll know because you're watching it now and you can see. If I do split it up, this will be part one. If not, it'll be one video and it'll be a longer video than normal. Okay, let's grab some and begin. Okay, here we go. There is George V. That is Charles III's great-grandfather. And that's a 1927. 1944, that'll be George VI. And there is a 1928 again, that's a George V. There's a 1901, so that will be the old head Queen Victoria. There's a shiny one. There is a 1967. It's the first time I've said that in all these hunts for going back years. Because all my coins normally have no 1967s. So that's the first one. Oh dear. 1964. 1965. There's an 1899, so that'll be a Victoria Vale head. There's a 1916, not a recessed ear. You can see the ear there is not recessed, so that's a common one. There's a 1904, so that will be Edward VII. We get a few different monarchs. There's another Elizabeth, and sadly another 67. There's going to be quite a lot, isn't there? And another 67. Right, that's made my mind up. This is just going to be one video. And we got quite a few different ones, the very first handful. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give all these away, everything I put on the board as normal, but this will just be one video. So just comment on the video and I'll pick a comment at random and the winner will get all these. But because it's just one video, please put the word Britannia in your comment. Okay? And obviously if you don't want to win them, you can still make a comment, just don't put the word Britannia in. And don't worry if you can't spell Britannia, as long as I know what it means. It's not a spelling test. That's what my local quizmaster said down the pub. We used to mark each other's papers, and a lot of people say, oh, but he spelt it wrong. And he always used to shout out, it's not a spelling test. So, as long as I know it says Britannia, don't worry about the spelling. The 1928, that's a bit dirty, but I will keep upgrading them when I find better ones. Let's put that 67 there and grab some more. Right, there's Edward VII. This time we got 1907. There's a 1921 George V. 67, there we go. There's a 1939, so that'll be George VI. Yeah, another 39. 1920, I don't know if you saw my Have You Got a Rare 1920 video. I can see straight away that is just a common one. Another 67. 1866. Well, we can go down on the board for now. It's terrible condition, but we can see the date. Well, same with this. What's that, 1885? 1885. Another very poor condition, but I'll put it down for now. 67. There's a 1908, so that will be, again, Edward VII. There's a 1921. 1935. We get a few different ones. 1914. George V. There's a Victoria, 1899. That's not bad condition for 1899. A bit of a mark at the bottom there though. Oh, that's a shame. Look at that. It's got to be a 67, hasn't it? Yeah. George V, 1912. We've got no mint mark on there. There's another George V, 1931. Okay. Is it going to be a 67? No, 65. 62. And a 1966. Edward VII, 1902. Looking for a high tide. No, we're not. We're looking for a low tide. That is a high tide. The tide is exactly where Britannia's legs cross. You can see the height of the sea level there. So that is the high tide. That's got to be a 67. Yeah, certainly is. There's a 1913 George V. Another George V. 1927. 1873. What the hell is that? Prince Edward Island. That's Canada. But there's no way that is 1873. Lady's Slipper, so that must be the name of the plant. Prince Edward Island. I assume that must be French below. Yeah. That's probably nearer 1973 than 1873. There's no denomination on it, is there? So it's not a coin. Any ideas? Let me see if I can hold that still. Any ideas on that one? It's a bit thicker than a penny. There we go. A little bit thicker and a little bit bigger. But that's got to be a token, hasn't it? George V, 1935. There's King George VI, 1945. 1949, and that is another 67, is it? Yep. Elizabeth. There's Victoria, young head. 1892. We haven't got one of those yet. Not too bad. See the ship and the lighthouse quite clearly. And that is a 1918. Have we got a mint mark on there? A bit dirty. No, there isn't. That's got them all in place, and this one here, as I say, Prince Edward Island. Someone could identify that for me, but that'll be part of the giveaway. Put that out there. There we go. Okay, we have a 1917. We haven't got one of those yet. George V. 1947. I haven't got one of those either. There's a 1938. It's yet another new one for the board. There is an 1897 Queen Victoria. We always look for the full stop, like a dot between the O and the N in one. It's a known error, but we haven't got that. And we look for the tide level. You see the tide level there is low tide. That is the common one for this coin. And there is a tide level that's sort of between high and low tide. Very hard to see filming it like this. Well, I do look for it, but I've never found one yet. That's a common one. There is a 1967. Another one, I suppose. Yeah. There's Victoria. 1876. And you can see the H mint mark between the 8 and the 7. They've all got them. All made at Heaton in 1876. The Heaton Works in Birmingham. Hence the H. Now we've got a 1906. That's not very good, is it? But there's no 1906 on the board yet, so I'll put that one there for now. 1936. I think that's the first 36. Very common coin, that. There's a 1921. Got that. 1932. Another one for the board. Another 67. There's a 1940. Still one for the board again. 64 and 1935. That's got those all on the board. Let's carry on. Can't hang about. We've got loads to look at this time. For one video anyway. Right, there's George VI, 1938. 61, I think we need that. 1964. There's a 1915. It's not a recessed ear type. It's just the common one, that. There's a Victoria, 1896. I think that's another one we need. 1967. There's a 1900 Victoria. What's that going to be? Oh, 1964. We've got that, but that's definitely a better one, so I'll upgrade that. 1967. 64. I think it's a 63 we're still looking for. There's a 1900. 1912, and that has got a H mint mark on there. H for Heaton in Birmingham. That's the most common of the George V mint marks, and you can you see the ghosting on that? Got a lot of ghosting on where you can see the king's head on the other side of the coin. It's called ghosting, but we'll get that one down there. 61, 64, and 1901. Okay, there's a 1912 with the H mint mark. 1964, that's an upgrade. 1900, 1896. What's this one? 1915 there. First bingo line, if you don't count that one. And a 1961. Okay, we have 1908. I think we've got one of those. I'll check that whether it's better or not. 66. 1891. We do need an 1891, but that's not good, is it? Got a little bit of concave in there. You can't see it, but I can feel it. See how it's worn on the other side. 63. I think we still need that. 1877. That's another. Oh, look at that. Same. Dents in. Probably see it on there. Causing it to wear on the other side. Well, we haven't got an 1877. I'll put that down for now. Definitely got a 67. 1897. We're looking for the dot between the O and the N, like a full stop. And we're looking for a sort of high-ish tide, but you can see that's the low tide. Where Britannia's legs meet would be the high tide, and this is definitely a low tide, which is common for the 1897. 1944. Newfoundland. That's another one of those. Well, it's not a common, is it? Pitcher plant. Newfoundland. 1949. And I suppose that's a French for pitcher plant under there. Let me grab the other one. Yeah, looks like some kind of set going on there. Look at that, exactly the same. Pitcher plant, and what was that one? Lady's slipper. Have to do a bit of research on that. I suppose somebody will know and put in the comments what on earth they are. Let's carry on with these. 1965, 1944. There's a Victoria, 1900, 67, 1938, King George VI. There's a 1910, Edward VII. He died in 1910. And we've got a 1920. We've got an 1877, 1963, 1891, and what's this last one in my hand here? 1910. There it is. There we go. And we've got these two Canadian, well, call them coins or tokens, whatever they may be. Right, there's a shiny one, a 67, 1907. We've got a 1907, but I think it was a bit scratched, so that might be an upgrade. I'll have a look. Oh, a 67, 1948. We're looking for a 1948. So a bit of dirt on there. It's not too bad. I'll put it down there for now. 66. There's an 1895. The 1895, you're looking for the big gap between the trident and the P. But this is the small gap, known as the 1mm gap. The other one is twice as wide as that. I've got a video on that below if you want to go and have a look. The link's below. 1863. We haven't got that one yet, but that's a very worn. Just check it is a 63. Yep. Very worn. Another 67. 1906, we've got that. And 1899, we've got that one too. Oops. 34, we haven't got a 34. One to put down on the board. 64. Another 1967. And what's this one? 1896, we've already got that. Okay, the 1906 and the 1907 are slightly better. So we'll swap them. Now we've got a 1934, 1895, and a 1948. Oh, my bag's falling apart completely. Okay, I'll start grabbing bigger handfuls, otherwise it's going to be an hour-long video. Nobody wants that, do they? Right. 1966. 67. There's a 1917, George V. 64. There's another 1907, Edward VII. 1901, Victoria. Another 1901, Victoria. There's a 1900, so obviously that's a Victoria too. There's a 1918, has that got a bin mark on it? It has H4 Heaton. The Heaton Metalworks in Birmingham produced that and not the Royal Mint. That's a nice one, we'll get that on the board in a minute. And now we've got an 1892, I think that's another one we need. No, looking at the board and we've got an 1892 and it's slightly better than that one. Okay, 1929, we do need a 29. 1935. Edward VII there, we're looking for 1903 and 1905 for Edward VII and a 1909 as well. 1962, there's a shiny one and it's a 67. I hate finding 67s. There's a 1946. What we're looking for is a little dash like an apostrophe after the E in 1, but that's just a plain one. What I might do is go and get one now and show you what you're looking for. The one I've just found is on the right, and the one with a little dash, the little apostrophe, on the left, and that's what you're looking for. See if we can get a bit closer on it. There we are. It's just a little fault in the die, but it has become collectible, and for one in that condition you'd probably pay around £30 for that, so definitely worth looking out for. Okay, still a few more in my hand. We have got a 1929. That's a bad condition up the top there. A little bit of damage there, but I think I found a 1929 to put down there, didn't I? 1896. There's a 1944. And that is a 1934. Already got. 1907 again, and that's got to be a 67. Oh no, it's a 66 this time. Okay, there's a 1946, just the plain one though, I'm afraid. 1863, I found that one, didn't I? Poor condition. 1929. And what was this last one? Oh, that was the 1918 with the H mint mark. $1967. There's a 1906, which we've got already. Edward the 7th. Also, it looks like he's got a testosterone on there, doesn't it? Right, there is an 1896. We're still looking for the 1898 Victoria, which is pretty common. 1944. Oh, there's a foreign one. What's that? 1854. Napoleon III, that is. Just about read it, I think. You can see the third at the top there, so that's going to be France, 10 centimes, pretty badly worn, but you can see the date, and it does predate all these pennies actually, 1854, so that will go down on the board. There is an 1892 again, but we do have a better one than that. That's a 1919, no mint mark on that one, but we haven't got an 1819 yet, have we? Sorry, a 1919. Get it right. And there's a shiny 67. There's a 62 for a minute. 1964. There's a 1900 Victoria. 1927. We've got that. There's a 62. Not the best. There's a 1903. Looking for an open 3. Let me just zoom in there. Come on. No, that is a closed 3. The 3 has got a curly at the top, and the bottom of 3 also curls under, so it's almost closed. I'll go and get an open 3 and show you what you're looking for. There we are. The one I've just found is at the bottom, and you can see the one at the top. The open 3 is almost flat along the top of the 3, and is not as curly at the bottom either. Known as the open 3, and they're selling for around £50 at the moment, so definitely look out for that. A few more. 1961, 1944, there's a 1912, no mint mark on that one, but we've got that already. And there's a halfpenny, George VI, 1938, that's Sir Francis Drake's ship, the Golden Hind on there. Be lovely to have nice designs on coins like that now, wouldn't it? 1908. Got that one. And the last one in this handful, a 1937. I do believe we need a 37. Not the best condition, but I'll put it down there for now. George VI. We've got the 1919, the 1937, and the 1903. Again, just a common one, I'm afraid. And we'll put that halfpenny down there as well. I don't think this board's going to fill up as much as normal because there's only 500 pennies this time, and a bulk of those are the 1967s. But if you want them, if you want to try and win everything down here, just make a comment, include the word Britannia, and I'll do a draw, and winner, get all these. Look what I got in my change from the pub last night. A 50p Paddington at the Cathedral with a hole in it. Never seen a 50p with a hole in it before. That's changing the subject, isn't it? Right, let's get back to the pennies. Right, big handful here. 1946, has that got the dash on it? Nope, that's a plain one. 62. 1936. There's a 1912, that has got an H mint mark on it. It's a very common one, the 1912. And we do have one down there already. George VI, another 1946. Has that got a dash on it? No, it hasn't. That's another plain one. There's another 1912 and another H mint mark. There we go. Like I say, it is the most common of the George V mint mark pennies. 1912. 63. There's a 1919. Has that got an H there? I don't know. Could be, but no. Just a bit of dirt, I think. A bit of damage on that one anyway. Okay, 1967. 1944. There's an 1879, and we haven't got an 1879. Again, very poor condition, but that's going on the board. Camera switch yourself off then for a couple of seconds. 1938. 1948. There's another 1967. 65. Oh, 1905. Looking for a 1905. There's another one for the board. Let's put that straight down there. There we go. Okay, 1962. 1905 again? No, 1902 this time. That was the first year the Edward VII pennies were minted. Now, Queen Victoria died in January 1901, so he would have been king for over a year before he saw any of his portraits on pennies. So I don't think we're going to get any Charles III coins until after his coronation, which could be the summer of 2023. I might be wrong. What do you think on that one? There's George VI, 1927. Another Edward VII, 1910. We do have that one. 1947. 1963. There's a 1916. Has that got a... It has got a recessed ear. Look at that. You see how the ear is recessed into the coin? That was to stop ghosting, like the king's head appearing on the other side. And that will have a broken tooth or a broken bead. So if I zoom in, after the word Britch, see the colon straight up. And that's quite a good example, actually. Clearly see that the bead, the tooth is broken. So that's not a bad one at all. I'll put that down on the board in a minute. 1907, 1929, and 1927. And I nearly forgot the Napoleon III one. We'll put that down there as well. Put that over there. Okay, I already put the 1905 down there. This is the 1879. And what was this one? This was the 1916 with the broken tooth. So I'll put that down there as well. There we go. I've got my mug half full of dirty coins. There we are, Mac and Moolah mug. Go and join Glenn's channel and Mac and Moolah. And what I'll do in the next video, and I'll give these away in the next video. Right then, George V, 1917. There's a 1910, Edward VII. 1940, 63. There's a 1900, Victoria. 1916. At this time you can see it's not a recessed ear. 1936. 1907 there. Edward VII, but we're still looking for a 1909. 64, 1912, No mint mark on that one. 34. There's a 1900. 1919. Again, no mint mark. 1928. 1907. There's a 1902. Edward VII. Looking for the low tide. And that is a high tide because the tide level, the sea level there on the right, is directly where Britannia's legs meet. And I didn't check the other one, did I? No, that's also a high tide. Right, 67. 1908. 1907. And there's a 62. And that's definitely an upgrade. So let's do that right now. Where are we? 62, yep. I'll swap that. That's much better condition. Another 62. 1905 and 1948. Sorry about the length of the video, and yeah, sorry about the adverts, but I want to get this video done in one shot. I don't want to split it up into part 1, part 2, because it's only 500. 65, and people say don't speed it up, so I won't speed it up. Right, so was that 1900, 1910. There's a 1917. There's a 1966, and there. What is that? That's a Victoria. Feels like too small for a halfpenny. Was it an old farthing? Well, that's backwards, isn't it? Whatever is that? Let's see if I can zoom right in on that. Well, that writing is definitely backwards. That's reversed, isn't it? Can I get anything out of this? Now that is odd. I think I might keep this one and try and work out what on earth's going on there. That looks like Roman numerals. MC. But why would that be reversed? Interesting little oddity there. Yeah, I'm going to keep that one. Sorry about that. Right, let's carry on. 1946. Has it got a dash? Oh, is there something there? No, it's just a little scratch in that place, I think. $1940. There's a 1906. 62. What the earth is that? Could be an old George III. Feels heavy. It could be a. Could it be a badge or something? Focus on that. Come on. Could be a little pin badge or something. Let me get my magnet out. It feels heavy. Let's see if I can see it. Where is it? Where is it? Second. There it is. No, it's definitely not magnetic. It's not iron. It could be an old George III penny been turned into a badge or something. Well, the winner can have that and they can probably work out what it is. Try, there we go, put that down there. Right, there is a 1910. Edward VII. 35. 67. 1922. We haven't got a 1922. Now, what you're looking for... it's just not in good enough condition. You're looking for one where the middle prong of the trident doesn't touch one of the beads, and that's definitely touching, but that's in poor condition. I'll put it down there for now. Let's hope we find a better one, then I can show you easier. Another 1917, And 1965. Let's put that 1922 down there and grab a few more. Right, tidy up. And 1967. There's an 1897. Looking for a dot, like a full stop between the O and the N. Quite a rare one, that, if you find it. Very collectible. It's an error, but very collectible. And see, the tide level is low, and the normal tide level for an 1897 is low tide. You can get some with a slightly higher tide, but very hard to see on worn coins. 1965, another 1897. Come on, one of these days I'm going to get a dot between there. No, and that is a low tide. 1944. There's a 1919, and yeah, we got a mint mark. Come on, focus. There we go. Look at that. H mint mark. H for Heaton. Heaton works in Birmingham. And that's another one for the board. And you can see the ghosting there of the king's head on the other side. That's what I mean by the ghosting, which they tried to get rid of by recessing the ear. But not at Heaton, they didn't do it. But never really succeeded in doing that. Anyway, let's get that down on the board. 1919 H. Right, now we have got 1913, 1912, no mint mark, and 1921. There is a 1902. Now, has that got a low tide? Doesn't look like it. It's a high tide. 67, 65, another 67, and another 67. 1898, that's what we're looking for, isn't it? 1898. Not the best condition, but it's worth putting down there, filling that gap up. And now we have 63. 1915. You can find 1915s with a recessed ear and a broken tooth. They're a lot scarcer than the 1916s. Not that one though. 1914. Last one in this handful is a 67. Right, we start with an 1899. 1917, 1927, there's a 1945, that's 67, there's a Victoria, 1900, another Victoria there, 1896, there's another 1912 with the H mint mark, but we do have a better one than that, 66, ooh. There's a George V, and that looks like it could be Australia. And it is, yep. 1929. Very nice. Lovely portrait of George V, that. That's not in bad condition for 1929. Well, that's going down on the giveaway board. There we go. Oh, we're getting a few now on the foreign column. 67, 1903, is that going to be an open 3? Nope, curly at the top, curly at the bottom, that is a closed 3. That's the common one. And that's very common as well, 67. There's a 1907, that's been shined up, look at that, isn't that horrible? When people shine up old coins, especially old copper and bronze coins, I don't like that. George V, 1926, right, something to look for in 1926, so you put these down. On the 1926, you're looking for what is known as the modified effigy, where the king's portrait has been modified a bit, but unless it's an uncirculated coin, it's very hard to tell. because most of it is in the hairline and the stuff that wears down really quickly. But there is another way of telling. If you look at the wording, and you'll see GRA and the word Brit. Now in between there's a colon, and that is central. Let me just freeze this, it's easier to see. There we go. And that colon is almost central between the A in GAR and the B in Brit. Now let me show you one of the scarcer ones, one of the modified effigies. There we are. This is a modified effigy, and if I freeze that, you can see the colon is much nearer to the A. In fact, it's almost touching the A, and that is the easiest way to spot them. That's the first thing I look for in 1926. There are plenty of other ways to spot whether you've got a modified effigy or not, and there's a video I've done, and the link is below. Have you got a rare 1926 penny? So if you go and have a look at that video, it will show you a few different things to look for. A modified effigy 1926 in this condition, about £20 to buy it. Okay, let's carry on. 1917 there, George V. 1919, no mint mark on that one. 1899, and what's this? 5 Norway 1966, is that Norway? Norg, is it? I think it is. 1966, so it looked older than that. Well, that can go down there. If you want a 1966 5 ore from Norway, I better put that up there. That got in there, I'll never know. There's a 1915, not recessed here. There's a 67, and yep, another 67, and would you believe it, another 67. Because I'm a T-Rex fan, somebody called me a metal guru the other day. I thought that's quite good. I suppose all us coin tubers are metal gurus. If you're following the video this far, put metal guru in the comments and I'll know. Okay, we start this handful with a 1907, 67, and a 1928. Still looking for a 26 and a 30 of George V. There's a 1914. What's that? 64. There's a 1919. There's a 1946. Has it got a dash? There is one there, but it's not what we're looking for. That's just a bit of damage, I think. Yeah, that's all that is. 1929. What's that? 1936. There's a George V. And 1911. Looking for the hollow neck, where the king's neck has a hollowness about it at the back there. But that's not. Very hard to show really on these hunts, but I have made a video on it. Have you got a rare 1911 penny? If you want to go and have a look at that. We're talking £50 or £60 if you find one. That sadly is just a common one, but we do need it. So let's get that down there. Okay. Oh, what's that? 1844. Oh, Jersey. States of Jersey. Is that 126? 1/26th of a shilling. 1/26th of a shilling. So that's not even a halfpenny. A halfpenny is 1/24th of a shilling. That is very nice. 1844. So I suppose it's the equivalent of a halfpenny. 1/26th of a shilling. That's a cracker. Wow. There we go. As I don't collect foreign coins, that's in the giveaway. Right, 1931. Oh, it's got a bit of damage on it there. 1920. 1936. There's a 47. Another 1936, and this handful ends with a 1938. George V, 1914. 66. There's a 1920. 35. And there's a coin with a hole in it. At least it's only a 67. We got here 1918. There's another 67. There's another 67. 1899. 67. There's a 1898 Victoria. Another 67. Another 1920 there. 1916. And that's not a recessed ear. 67. 1912. And there's no mint mark on that one. 1916. Nope, that's the common one. 67 again. What's that? 1913. 1929. 67. And another 67. There's a pile of coins in front of me here. I think they're the ones I put down when I was looking at something else earlier on. So I don't think we've looked at these yet. 1938. There's a 1900. 1894. We need an 1894, so no, definitely haven't looked at these. 1894. That is the last of the young head Victorias. After that, it went to the old head, the Vale head. Alright, so we've got George V. 1912. No mint mark there. 27. 64. Well, there's an Irish one. Irish penny. Pingan. Oh, 1928. That is an old one. That's quite an old one for an Irish one. We usually find them 40s and 50s. Not many 1928s. Well, that's going down there as a giveaway then. We haven't got any Irish ones yet, I don't think. No. There we go. Okay, 27. 1898. There's a 1922. Is that middle prong of the trident touching the bead? Yep, it is. So that's a common one. But the one we found earlier was in bad condition. So I'll swap that because that's a little bit better. There we go. There's a 1944. And there's a halfpenny. That's also 1944. We'll get that down the board. Put that with the other one. There we go. Okay, 19, is it? No, it's not. It's 18 and 96. There's a 1921. 1938. There's a 64. 1915. Standard. 66. 62. This one is a 1937. There's another big handful. 1917. 66. There is a 1946, but there's no little dash up there. 67. 63. There's a 1917. There's a 1921. 63. 1919. 65. 1896. And is another one of those tokens, Canadian tokens, isn't it? Prairie crocus. And that must say prairie crocus in French. 1870, definitely not 1870. Manitoba. Yeah, let's get those others and compare them. There we are, lady's slipper, pitcher plant and prairie crocus. So I think we deduced they came from Canada. Prince Edward Island. Newfoundland. They're all exactly the same size. Look at that. Anybody got any info on those? We'll put them back on there. We'll put them all together. There we go. Right, where did I put those? I was doing it out. Right, let's carry on. 1900, 1905, 37. There's an old one. 18, I think that's 75, is it? 1875, very worn. But we don't have an 1875, so it fills another space. Now we've got 1921, 1937, 1917, 1913, there's a 1940, 1904, 37, and an 1896. Okay, I bet people have spotted this, but I didn't put the 1926 down from earlier on, did I? I put it to one side when we were looking at the modified effigy. I didn't put it down there, but there it is now. I'm getting two big handfuls now. I can hardly hold them. Alright, so here we go. And 1964, and there's an Irish one. 1948, that's not bad condition either. That's pretty good. 1948. Let's get that one down there as well then. The two Irish ones we've got now. 28 and 48. 1919, but we've got no mint mark on that one. 64. A 1909, I believe we do need a 1909. Edward the 7th. That could be the last of the Edward the 7th. Yes, it is. That's all the Edward the 7th pennies now. Oh, it's filling up. Not too bad. There's a 67. Oh, there we go. 10 centimes. French. Is that going to be another Napoleon III? Yes, it is. Look. Napoleon III, 1856. I think the other one was 1854. Bit on there. That could wash off quite easily. So there's another one for the board. Napoleon III. 10 centimes. Where did I put the other one? There it is. Two of those now. There's a bit of damage on that one. 1936. 1912. Another one with a mint mark on it. H for Heaton. 62. And another Irish one there. Another 1948. Was that 48 before? It was, wasn't it? And that's not so good. I'll put it down there for now anyway. Obviously the other one's going to be better, but the winner will get. There is a 67. 1907. 1934. And there is 1862. The hole, a horrible hole in that one. I think we've got that, haven't we? No, we haven't got a 62. Oh, that's a shame. It's going to have to go down there though. There it is. Oh dear. Hope we get a better one than that. 1908. 1914. 1905. If you're following this video all the way this far, thank you very much. 1899. There's a 1920. There's a 1946. Come on, let's find one of those with the dash. Not that one. 62. 1875. Well, that looks like the wide date. Let's just have a look at the other one we found. At the top is the 1875 we found earlier, and that's the narrow date, and the wide date at the bottom, 1875. Neither of them particularly scarce, but it's nice to have the two varieties. Not the best condition, but they're there anyway, so there we go. Let's put them down there. If you got an 1875 with the H mint mark, that's worth a little bit more, but they're just the standard Royal Mint ones. 1919. 67, 29, and the last one is Victoria, 1890. I think we need 1890. It's not too bad. You can read all the writing on that side anyway. Not so much on that. Yeah, 1890. There we go. Right. 1961. 1937. There's a 1902, and you can see that it's a high tide. See where the tide level is? That's the high tide. Edward the 7th. 1920. 1936. What's that? Is that 1922? Yeah. But it looks like the common one. The chances of finding one, they're worth well over £1,000 if you find one that doesn't touch the trident. Where the trident doesn't touch the dot, I should say, the bead, the tooth. There's a 1903. And that's a closed 3, which is the common one. 1872. I think we need an 1872. These are not in the best condition, are they? These are Victorian ones, but the dates are readable. I'm going to put them down there. Yeah, 1872. There we go. Okay, 1908. 1966. 29. 38. There's a battered one. Don't think that's even going to be readable. It could be 1885. 1885. That's going to be a 5 or a 3. Oh, it's just too bad, isn't it? We've got an 1885. I'm going to assume it's an 85, and we've already got it. I don't like putting battered things like that down. 1936. 66. 61. Oh, an 1861. 1961 and 1861. We definitely need that. So look at the condition. Not too bad. Let's get it down there. That's another one. Okay. 1920. 1908. 1905, bad condition. 1907. Just a couple more. 1897. Have we got a dot this time? We haven't. And it is... oh yeah, it's a low tide. And 1912. Maybe this was too long for one video. You know how long it is, I don't yet. Right, another massive handful here, right. 67. 1900. 1967, and there's a horribly shined up coin. Look at that, isn't that awful? Oh, it's an 1864 as well. In good condition, these are worth quite a bit of money, but in that condition, not a lot, I'm afraid, and we haven't got it either. Look at that. Terrible. 1967, 39, 65, 67. There's a 1909. We've already got it though now, haven't we? 67, 1936, 1938, a 67, and there's a battered 1905. You chunk out of it. Something's crushed that years ago. What was it? 1908, yeah. What we got here? A 19, is that readable? Yep, 1898. 1896. 1946. Have we got a little dash there? We haven't. 67. There's a 1911, and that is not a hollow neck. That's the common one. 1919, we've got no mint mark on there. 62, well, there's another Irish one. That's a bit scratched. Oh, it's another 1928. And that's a bit bent as well. So I'm not even going to bother putting that down there because we've already got a 1928. So I'll put that in with the dirty coins. There we go. 67. Ooh, George V. No, is that Australia? Oh, South Africa. 1935. And that ship is the Dromedaeus. That's not bad condition for 1935. It's different, South Africa. At least we've got another one. Find quite a few of those in hunts, but 1935 in good condition. Haven't got one in this hunt from South Africa yet, until now. 1900. 1907. Oh, 1903. And it's not an open 3, that's a common one. 36. There's another 1903. And another common one, sadly. And what we got here, 1919 with no mint mark. $19.45. There's an 1876 with the H mint mark, but we have got one. I think it's a little bit better than this. Have a look. Actually, nah, the one I just found is better, isn't it? I think it's got a bit of dirt that will wipe off by the look of it, yeah. And yeah, it's definitely better. So let's swap it for that one. And we've all got H mint marks on, the 1876s, all made at Heaton. 67, 67, 67. 1916, not a recessed ear. What's that? 63, 64, 1900. There's a coin with a hole in it. 1861. Well, we've got an 1861. So I'll put that one down there. And a battered 1906. 1913. 37. There's an 1880. It's like somebody's had a... Well, whatever they did to it, it's a long time ago because it's been worn down with the coin. So look. It is one we need though. So it's going to go down there. 1880, there we go. Right, is that 67? Yeah. 1907. 1920. 1899. 67. A couple more in this handful. 1899 and a 1937. Go out a handful now. Look at this lot. Right, there we go. Okay. Edward the 7th, 1906. 1936. 61. 1936 again. I must keep apologising, it's far too long, isn't it? I should have split it up. 1967. 1918. No, mint mark. 1899 Victoria. 65. 1922. Come on, be the rare one. No. That's Trident. A centre prong is touching the bead. That's a common one. And there's another one. And that again is touching the bead. And another common one. There's a Victoria. So 1888. I believe that is 1888. Again, not very good condition, is it? But it's something we need. So let's get it down there. There's more down there than I thought there'd be for this batch. considering the amount of 67s, and it's only 500 as well. 46, nothing up there. 1940, 1901. For the 1940s, you can look for the lines, the double lines under there, but it's so hard to film. That looks like a double line. It's just so hard to film, that's why I don't bother with it. Nothing too rare anyway. 1901. There's an 1875, that looks like the wider date. I've got both of those. 67, 21, 64. Oh, there's another Irish. 1935, that's not bad, is it? Got 28 and a 35 now. Lovely, let's get that down as well. Okay, what we got then? Come on, focus on that. It's only a 67, yeah. Oh, what's this? That looks to me like a George the Fourth. That's George the Fourth, isn't it? It's George the Fourth halfpenny, but the date is. I don't think there's going to be anything there. No. I'm not going to get a date off that, I'm afraid. It's a George the Fourth halfpenny. There you go. You can have that if you want it. Put it down there. 67. Victoria. What's this? 1877, but we do. Is it 7? Yeah, we do have a couple of those down there already. 1916. That's going to be. That's a common one. Another Victoria. 1889. Terrible condition. We do need it though. Down it goes. My voice is going. Right. 67. 1909. 1919. 66. And what we got here? 62. Yep. I've got all the rest out the bag. There they are. Let's go. If I can hold them. That's a Victoria. 1901, 29, 1896, there's an Elizabeth, just a little bit, 67, I can hardly hold these, 1917, what's that, 1872, I've got that, 1911, not the hollow neck. 46, come on, one day I will get one of those. No, not that time. 1902, and that is, you can see there, a high tide. Oh, Victoria, is that readable? Yeah, it's an 1862, we've already got that. 37, 64, 1934. We still got a 1930. I can't believe we haven't found one. It's not that rare at all. 1914. 1909. There's a 26. And it is a standard, not the modified. 64. 1920. 67. I'm going to have to put some of these down. Just this, because I'm merely dropping them. There we go. Okay, we have got 1936, 1919, 1940. There's a 1902, and that is a high tide. My voice is nearly gone. 1899. 66. There's a shiny 67. What we got here? 1897. I can't see a dot on there, but that is a low tide. Come on. 37. Another Irish one. What we got? 1937. At least it's a different date again. 1937. Pretty good nick. Let's get that down there with the other Irish ones. And we've got 64. What's that? 71? 77? No, I think is that a 3? I can't read that. So I can get a different light on it. Is that a 3? See, I don't want to say it's a 3 and it's not, because we haven't got an 1873 down there, but it does look like a 3. I'm going to say that's an 1873 and put it down there. There we are. Right, 1919, no mint mark. 1928. 1893, have we got an 1893? No, we haven't. That's nice. Another one to add. 1893, there we go. '67, 67, 64, 19, 63, another Victoria. Oh, come on, let's have some dates that are readable. So 1883 or an 1882, I think that's a 2. That's an 1882, isn't it? Yeah. The top's too big for a 3. We haven't got an 1882, so that's another one. 38, 45, 1920, 66. Well, there's a halfpenny. 1895, Victorian halfpenny. That's another one to put down there. Where's the halfpennies? Are they up? 1900. 1938. And there's one with some holes in it. Are they holes? Do they go all the way through? Don't, do they? No. Someone's going to make a button out of that. I don't know what they're going to do. 1872 anyway. We've got a bit more than that. Oh, Australia, 1964. Now, did we find Australia earlier on? It was so long ago, I can't remember. Don't think we have. Australia, there's no dot after the A in Australia. So I think that means it's a Melbourne mint. If it had a dot after the A, it would be the Perth mint. I think that's the right way around. That's not bad condition. So there's another one. Okay, the last 4. Honestly, it's the last 4. 1918, no mint mark. 1896, 1966, and the last one is a 1965. Okay, what we didn't find on here is not surprising, apart from the 1930, because that's not particularly scarce. And the older Victorian ones is what you'd expect. Okay, if you want them, just comment. Make sure you put the word Britannia in your comment, and in a couple of weeks' time, I'll do a draw and someone will win all these. Okay, my voice is going. I'm going as well. See you in the next one. Thanks for staying all this time if you did. Hang on, there's a dirty coin up there. There's a dirty coin. Got to put it in the mug, haven't we? There it is.